reasonable speed to allow adequate interpretation. I would further remind delegations that the rolling list of speakers for the general debate will be closed tomorrow, Tuesday the 5th of October at 6 p.m. Therefore, all delegations intending to take the floor during the general debate who have not yet signed up on the list are encouraged to do so before that deadline. Delegations are further reminded that the Department of Global Communications will issue press releases with daily coverage of our proceedings in English and French, which will be posted on the UN website a few hours after each meeting. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen representatives, we will now hear from our first speaker in the general debate. In accordance with the established practice, we will begin with group statements. I now give the floor, and it is my pleasure to do so, to give the floor to Mr. Mohammad Koba, Ambassador Chargé d'Affaires ad interim of Indonesia, who will speak on behalf of the non-aligned movement. Mr. Ambassador, sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am honored to speak on behalf of the non-aligned movement, NAM. I congratulate you and other bureau members on your election, as well as assure you of NAM full cooperation. The full statement of NAM will be available online. NAM reiterates continued concern over the current difficult and complex situation in the field of disarmament and international security. The movement calls for renewed efforts to resolve the current impasse in achieving nuclear disarmament and nuclear non-proliferation in all its aspects. NAM expresses concern at the increasing global military expenditure, which could otherwise be spent on development needs. Reaffirming NAM principal positions, nuclear disarmament remains the agreed highest priority for the UN in the area of disarmament. NAM is deeply concerned by the dismal state of affairs as a result of non-compliance by NWS and the threats it poses to the non-proliferation regime and international security architecture. The convening of UN high-level international conference on nuclear disarmament would provide an important opportunity to review progress made in nuclear disarmament and to further promote this noble objective. NAM welcomes multilateral efforts toward nuclear disarmament and the total elimination of nuclear weapons. NAM takes note of the entry into force of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons on 22nd January 2021. NAM stresses the importance of enhancing public awareness about the threat posed to humanity by nuclear weapons. NAM welcomes UN annual meetings and activities for the observance of 26 September as the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. NAM takes note of the extension of the New START Treaty to 2026. NAM calls for the renewal of the commitments agreed within the framework of this treaty. Mr. Chairman, NAM state parties to the NPT regret the failure of the 9th NPT Review Conference to reach consensus on a final outcome. NAM calls upon the NWS to demonstrate political will to enable the 10th Review Conference to have concrete recommendations on achieving nuclear disarmament, the ultimate objective of the NPT. NAM welcomes the convening of the first session of the conference on the establishment of the Middle East zone free of nuclear weapons, according to the General Assembly Decision 73/546, and looks forward to the second session of the conference. NAM state parties to the NPT also stress that the resolution on the Middle East adopted by the 1995 Review and Extension Conference of the parties to the NPT remain valid until the objective achieved, and that the implementation of Decision 73/546 is without prejudice to the validity of the resolution and the decision, and shall not also be construed as the replacement. Mr. Chairman, NAM firmly believes that non-proliferation policy should not undermine the inalienable rights of states to acquire, have access to, import or export nuclear material, equipment and technology for peaceful purposes. NAM recalls the successful conclusion of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action on 14 July 2015, adopted by Security Council Resolution 2231. NAM calls for its full implementation by all its participants. Believing the NWFC's established relevant treaties are important for global nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation, NAM calls upon all NWS to ratify related protocols to all treaties establishing NWFCs. NAM also stresses the significance of achieving universal adherence to the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, especially by all NWS, and the realization of the entry into force of the CTBT, taking into account the special responsibility of the NWS. Mr. Chairman, NAM state parties to CWC note with satisfaction the effective operation of CWC. They urge the U.S. to take every necessary measures to ensure its compliance with the detailed plan for the deconstruction of chemical weapons. NAM state parties to the Biological Weapon Convention call for the resumption of multilateral negotiation to conclude a non-discriminatory, legally binding protocol dealing with all articles of the Convention. On Security Council Resolution 1540, NAM stresses that the issue of acquisition of WMD by non-state actors should be addressed in an inclusive and non-discriminatory manner by the GA, taking into account views of all member states. NAM reaffirms the need to prevent emergence of new types of WMD and welcomes the adoption of the GA Resolution 75/31. NAM continues to affirm the sovereign rights of states to acquire, manufacture, export, import, and retain conventional arms and relevant parts, components, and ammunition for their self-defense and security needs, and that no undue restriction should be placed on transfer of such arms. Being deeply concerned over the wide range of consequences from the illicit SALW, NAM calls on all states, in particular major producing states, to ensure that supply of SALW is restricted only to governments or to entities duly authorized by them. NAM remains concerned over the negative implication of development and deployment of ABM defense system and threat of weaponization of outer space. The abrogation of ABM treaty brought new challenges to international peace and stability and the Paris. NAM reemphasizes the urgent need for the commencement of substantive work in the CD, including on Paris. Mr. Chairman, enhancing the effectiveness of UN disarmament machinery is a shared objective. NAM requests the Secretary General and High Representative to undertake steps to ensure proper, balanced, and equitable representation in the UNODA. NAM reaffirms the importance of the CD as the sole multilateral negotiating body on disarmament. NAM also underlines the importance of relevance of the UNDC and expresses grave concern on the inability of the UNDC to convene its organizational and substantive session. NAM stands ready to engage constructively on advancement of issues.
I do apologize, Ambassador Sir. Thank you very much for your kind statement. I would like to thank Ambassador Koba from Indonesia, who kindly spoke on behalf of the non-aligned movement. I now give the floor to the Ambassador Dennis Francis, His Excellency from Trinidad and Tobago, who is going to